Well, speaking of controversial things that they wish they could take back, that was a good one. I didn't even plan that. I didn't even plan that. That was a good one. Dan Orlovsky has yet again stuck his foot in his mouth as he went on one of our favorite people in the world, Pat McAfee's show, and was asked about some of the quarterbacks in the class and gave some praise to those, but was specifically asked about Justin Fields. And what he said kind of rings a little not PC, little racist.
Oh no.
So but I will say in his defense, slightly, he did say from people I've talked to. So he didn't attribute this stuff to himself. He was being the conduit, the relay, the messenger.
But usually you're only a conduit for stuff that
you agree with.
Yeah, that you agree.
I'm not going to go on the Pat McAfee show and be like, I've heard that there are lizard people running the government. But I just said that's what I've heard.
I've heard the earth is a flat place.
There's been people that have said the earth is flat.
Oh my God.
But I'm not saying I believe that. I'm just saying what I've heard.
You provocateur, you.
So what he said was, let me read the quote. He said, I have heard that he is a last in guy, first out guy type of quarterback, like not the maniacal work ethic. He could then compare his work ethic to, of all people, Justin Herbert. Because, I mean, I guess he's a recent draftee.
Oh, they're saying Justin Herbert was a slacker?
Well, no, they're saying Justin Herbert was like fervently trying to.
Workhorse.
Yeah, I mean, he likes to absorb knowledge. Like he's like, give me everything, give it to me now. Type of guy. Then he made multiple comments about Justin Fields' work ethic, and it sucks because if that is true, if that's what he has heard, and that is what some people are telling him.
Kirby Smart.
Kirby's like, hey, he's terrible.
That kid didn't even want to run the option plays I was drawing up.
I tried to give him the starting job. He just wasn't here.
Coach,
he was already at Ohio State. He just wasn't here.
He wasn't here.
he got mad because I made him run the read option. Man, I said he should throw the ball. Man, I know what your legs are for.
Don't you know you're a quarterback? You're supposed to run the ball. So, he made many insinuations that Fields is lazy. And it's kind of crazy for someone like Fields. Granted, he is athletically gifted. But you're not athletically gifted and then go to a high-level place like a Georgia and like Ohio State and be a Heisman candidate without putting in some type of work.
Except for Johnny Manziel. I mean,
yeah, but as you saw, once they caught on to Johnny Manziel, it didn't last long.
Right.
Yeah.
So no, he never struck me as a kid who doesn't work hard because watching the QB1 show, for instance, when he was facing off against Trevor Lawrence head to head, he had all the intangibles.
That's what I was going to say. Is you
don't get that good unless you work.
Right. You don't come out the number 2 quarterback in your class. Actually, the number 1 because you leapfrog Trevor Lawrence at the end, by not working hard. You don't go to these camps and not work hard. So go for it.
Here's my big issue with that.
I'm building on to something. I think you're going to say what I'm going to say.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Let me finish because I got a little bit more. So, one, it's not Orlovsky's first time that he's done this, but the racial undertones to it that just really speak to the problem that had been in the NFL for so long, and honestly, in America for so long. That one, we'll stick with football here. That black quarterbacks don't work hard. They're just athletic. They woke up, they can run a 4.4, and they rely on that only. It's just one silly. But it's a device used to keep white quarterbacks in the starting positions there. But it lends to the problem that we've seen in sports and the black community, backed by statistics, backed by facts, and has forced black athletes to do things like play through injuries more often because they can't say they're hurt because they know they have to work so much harder to get these positions, and hide injuries when they are actually hurt from their training staffs and their coaches. So this is like, it's not just like he might have said this, he's just reporting what he said. Like,
Yeah.
Go for it, Mike. I'll let you go.
Here's my thing. Because like I said, the criticisms of Lamar, Bill Polian criticized Lamar, and like Lamar has his flaws as a passer, but a lot of his flaws have to do with their predictability too, as well. Like you can criticize the predictability but my thing is, my frustration, and this actually isn't racially motivated, it's some of these scouts, what is their criteria? What are they basing their opinions on? Because I remember Josh Rosen coming out and they were critical of him because they said he was too smart. He asked too many questions.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, so what's the difference? Like, if I don't ask a lot, if I don't ask enough questions, then I'm lazy, or but if I ask too many questions, I don't know if we'll be able to keep his interest, because he's a little too intelligent.
Didn't Josh Rosen also get some of that he was a rich kid, so he doesn't want to work as hard stuff too?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And he's a tennis player, and it's like, but is that the reason why Josh Rosen didn't work out? No, I think he just ended up in two terrible spots in Arizona where they had no offensive line, didn't have enough weapons, and they gave up on him after the first year, traded him to Miami. He didn't have a great offense. They were a terrible team, didn't have a great offensive line, didn't have a lot of weapons, and they gave up on him again. And now he's Brady's backup. So, I don't understand this. Some of the this hyper critical nature that some of these scouts have on these draft quarterback prospects. It's like, good God, like what do you look? What constitutes the perfect quarterback? Is that exactly what you're looking? What are you looking for?
Insert Tyrese GIF here.
But it's like, I think that a lot of times, and it's not just especially with black quarterbacks, when they have exemplary play on the field and they have even like a history of winning or something where it's like, you can't really knock anything. They always try to go for something that's not necessarily tangible. Like, with Lamar, it was like, he's not smart enough, maybe, or he's not going to be able to pick up the plays because he's and then Baltimore just did the right thing and built their offense around him instead of being like, he has to figure out what we're doing. Like, no, you go with the talent. And then also, so with Justin Fields, it's like, okay, he looks good on the field. To me, the real knocks are maybe he's not as accurate as you'd like, but then he's mobile and he's accurate on the move. But they try to go with things like, his work ethic. Like, where's the tape that shows his work ethic is questionable? Where is that?
Boy,
it's like,
give me a quarterback that runs a 4.4 and can throw the ball 60 yards, 65 yards on a dime on the run, and I'll build my offense around him.
And a dude who literally said, by the time I come to pro day, I'll do a 4.3. That proves he works. How does that not prove he works?
Good point. Thank you,
bruh. But I mean, let's look back at it. Mitchell Trubisky was drafted before Deshaun Watson, a quarterback who went to back-to-back national championships and won against a very, very dominant Bama team
in a pro-style offense.
Exactly, a guy. And they found everything that they could to criticize Deshaun Watson on. And it's like, bro, this guy wins. It doesn't matter. Like, yes, is he perfect? No. But this guy wins a whole lot more. And somehow Mitchell Trubisky at North Carolina, where they didn't really do anything, managed to move up and up the ranks to become the second overall pick when you had a actual proven winner who went, like I said, in that same draft and got drafted, I think 8 picks after him.
Yeah, somewhere on there. I don't remember exactly the order that those or how far down they went. But yeah, I mean, every everybody that was watching college football that year went, wait, Trubisky? Like, and I tried to help our friend Robo feel better. I was like, Trubisky has looked good this season. I don't just know how, if it's just like, it was just one lucky season. I don't know if it was just that. Like, and don't get me wrong, Trubisky can still be successful in the NFL. I think he just needs to find the right offense.
What? Wait, when did he look good? You mean for like
at North Carolina?
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like in the league.
No. At North Carolina,
I mean, he looked good.
Amazing.
He had, like, 2-3 games.
He had even in the league, he had some flashes.
Okay, I'm thinking. My bad. I'm thinking Daniel Jones. My bad.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Even in the league, Trubisky has had some games where he's had flashes that it's like, all right, he's got something we can work with, but he's not consistent at all. But it's meanwhile, Deshaun has been consistent, and somehow he fell. And I don't even remember some of the excuses they used against him, but it was just like, why is this guy who wins all the time falling?
Yeah, I don't remember what it was either, but none of them made sense.
Yeah, and it wasn't the same thing as like when Tebow came out. Tebow had the awkward throwing motion and every
skips ball.
there were legitimate issues with Tebow, but you didn't have those same issues with Deshaun. But they found reasons as to why he shouldn't be the top quarterback drafted.
I don't get it. I really don't. Oh, by the way, I forgot to do this in the intro. Shout out to Victoria for subscribing to us here recently. We appreciate that. Victoria Watson, if you're wondering who we're talking about you.
Vicky.
I don't know why it looks like when I look at the lens, it doesn't look like I'm actually looking at it.
Maybe she's related to Deshaun.
That's weird. Very strange.
Victoria
is his mom. Deshaun Watson's mom listens to our podcast, by the way, guys.
Right, she's like, they defended my baby. That's right.
But yeah, it's just like, Orlovsky, you were never good enough to say anything like this. Shut up.
This is the same guy who ran out the back of the end zone.
On an 0-16 team. Who doesn't work well? Who doesn't work hard? You?
If you had worked hard enough, you wouldn't have ran out the back of the end zone.
Right. I mean, percentages say that. I mean, how many quarterbacks are going to get taken? Like probably like 10, maybe. Like
in the draft, yeah, probably somewhere in there.
Percentages say that only 1 or 2 of them is going to be good, and I would not put my money against Justin Fields as being one of the ones that's going to be bad. I'll say it like that.
Yeah, I just don't know with him, man. I go back and forth, and I'm like, he's very athletic, but he has been very inconsistent. So,
but he's won everywhere.
Yeah,
on a high level,
like you.
He's not done like Watson. Winning.
Yeah,
well, that's different.
but I mean, like I said, I am a diehard Georgia fan, and I always go back. The game that pissed me off the most was that LSU game we played that year. The one year he was in Georgia, and we put him on the field and literally go. We get the ball at our own 20. We get the ball and 3-4 plays, we're down in the red zone. They immediately take him out the game, put Fromm in, and then we stall out. And it was just like, we're moving the ball with Fields in the game. Give him a shot. Right. And of course, we wound up losing that game. And it was just like, bruh, this guy, they do not have an answer for Justin Fields. Give him a chance, and you might be able to win this game. You can always go back to Fromm after the game for the next game. But if you truly want to win and potentially have a shot to win to contend for a title, sometimes you have to say, all right, look, this guy is the hot hand right now. I'm gonna roll with him. Fromm you're still the starter. And it pissed me off so bad. And then
Kirby Smart is of that contention though, Micah. Are you surprised?
I'm just saying, that pissed me off. Then he goes to Ohio State and goes to 2 playoffs, back-to-back playoffs.
I just know the fact that every time that I've seen him have to put it on the line, he's been able to step. I mean, obviously the championship game, he was overwhelmed, But did he not like break his ribs and come in and beat Trevor? Did he not do that? like head to head in the QB1 contest, did he not step up and beat him? Like I honestly believe if he would have stayed at Georgia and given a fair and opportunity and he was treated correctly, I don't know if they would have won a title, but they would have been in the picture for sure. No question.
You said he looked overwhelmed in the national championship game. I didn't necessarily see that. I
don't mean he looked overwhelmed. I just mean it was a parallel situation.
Like he to him and Pat Mahomes, him in that national championship game reminded me of Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl, exactly. Where it was just like he did everything he could to make plays, and receivers would just hitting him in the face mask. Just say, like, God, bruh, come on, give your man some help. You might have a shot.
Yeah, I mean, we're almost out of it. We're almost out of that, but we still have a little bit of ways to go with getting rid of that stereotype.
That archaic mindset that pocket passers are the way of the future because Tom Brady is still winning.
And I just think there's also this stigma about committing long-term to the black athlete in football. You mean because that at the end of the day, that's what a quarterback has to be for you. It has to be someone you're willing to ride out with for the next 10, 15 years. And I think there's an issue of doing that with black quarterbacks so far.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't give too much more perspective on that because I just don't think like that. So I don't know. I have no idea why that is. Speaking of other quarterbacks, though,